4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
Dylan! You son of a bitch! We've only just begun to live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind. This week we're talking about the late, great Carl Weathers. Just recently lost him. And we just wanted to kind of pay tribute to the man, you know. I know a lot of people that are into nostalgia are huge fans of his, and even, you know, people that were into Mandalorian know who Carl Weathers is now at this point. I think his career spanned almost over 50 years in film, and so we just wanted to pay a little bit of homage. But before we get going, man, guys, how's it been going? I saw you recently as we just watched a game we're not going to talk about, and yeah, it didn't happen, so that's fine. But I think we actually just got done while we record this with Valentine's Day. I think Shoutic had a pretty good idea to either talk about where you first met our wives or first dates with the wives. I guess whichever one you want to pick. Leaf, you want to go first?
Absolutely. I thought you'd never ask. So I met my wife. I actually am previously divorced from a much like the Super Bowl game. I am a divorcee.
Oh no, I'm really good friends with the school nurse. She's a divorcee.
And much like the NFL Super Bowl game that she'll go here for unmentioned as we go forward here.
You're not going to mention that first wife either?
Yeah, wife numero dos and the final wife is we met actually at martial arts where I taught, and
that's not a place.
I mean, it was it was known as Carl Yap Center for the Martial Arts, and it was I particularly studied and taught Kali, or
that's that Christian karate place, right?
Yeah, I mean, and known among other names, yes.
Round kicks for Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, they were hook kicks, but yes.
Jesus, you know.
Jesus approves of all types of kicks to the groin and face where self-defense is applied. So we decided that we were actually good friends for a number of months. I'm pretty sure it was over a year. And nice. So one day it was after class, it just ended, and we wwere talking like we often did, and she happened to be single, and she was like, I mentioned how amazing the Burger King Frosties were, or the frozen Cokes, dude. And of course, her being like-minded was immediately like, oh my God, I love those too. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't you just it's like, I don't know, what am I in the 1950s? Now that I'm explaining this, like, this is like, so I'm like, hey, you want to go for a soda? Like,
you want to go for a malt down at the store? And then you looked her dead in the eyes, and a thought bubble appeared, and you said,
I bet that tastes good.
I actually did. And she didn't, without flinching, was like, it does. Shall we?
So
and off we went.
She's like, let's change this from ghee to no ghee.
Oh,
yeah, off came the ghee, and then so that was our first official date. I made her stare at some fat lady's ass crack cleaning the trash, so immediately she knew I was a man of class and stature. And believe it or not, our second and actual real first date, because I mean, some people might think that's lame. They don't count that one as a first date, right? I do. We do actually. Was at a one Matt Stevens project event. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of that band, the cover band. Excellent band.
They're very good. I know that drummer fucks. That's all I know. So
he does. He gets ass, no doubt.
So I'll go next.
He needs to turn his drums down every now and then.
God fucking damn it. So me and my wife, our first date, we've known each other kind of through mutual friends for a while. and thought to myself,
I bet that tastes good.
so
What a coincidence!
yeah, it's like we're the same person. And so we actually, which does not go well with that clip I just played. We went to church on our first date, and then we went and actually played a little tennis. Mine is like straight out of the 50s too. We went and played tennis after that, and then went and saw a movie at the picture show. And then
Did you wear your white linen pants to go
I did
play on a grass court?
I did. I had to change, and then had we had the help take care of our bags and things. But yeah,
The minorities.
yeah.
Fucking white people.
So man, yeah, both of ours are pretty much straight. I mean, ours was so innocent too. Like we didn't even kiss. Like it was like really fun. We went to go see a movie. I forgot. I think it was. I'll think of it later and never have her watch this episode. But it was she's already forgot it. Anyway, it was some cartoon, whatever. But I remember my wife made a league reference to Rafi, and I was fucking smitten. So,
So I remember the first time I met your wife. It was on the boat, and
This makes it sound like you're married to the same woman. I just
no.
Say.
So we're all hanging out on the boat, and she walks in, and the first thing she says to you is, "I know you. I'm gonna be having sex with you later." and I was like, I was single at the time, and I was like, what was his name? Timon in The Lion King. I was like, oh no. It's like I can see what's happening.
yeah, you're like, my friend's about to be smitten here.
Yeah. So we've talked about in the past that I actually went to school with my wife. We didn't date then. It was fucking. I think it was like seriously 20 years later, like after high school.
Dude.
We were both single.
Love's always on time, baby.
I saw she commented on something I had said on Facebook or vice versa. I can't remember, but we started like we didn't even have each other's phone numbers for a long time. We just like talked on Facebook for several weeks, and then I made a crack about. Like I always knew that she was a good singer, and like very well trained.
Yeah, she's got a phenomenal voice.
Yeah, so I made some kind of joke about going for karaoke, and she's like, I don't know, man, you get herpes when you go karaoke, and I was like, oh, one, you're not going to get herpes from me. Two, if you're that much up on the microphone, then you might be doing it wrong. 3, maybe I'm doing it wrong. And I was like, what do you say though? Like 20 years later, you want to have dinner? And I was like, singing's optional. Herpes is off the table though.
Herpes simplex 10.
And she told me a couple years later, like that was before we even went out. She's like, that was when like I started falling in love with you.
Oh, that's awesome. And it like goes to her thought bubble, and she's looking at you, and she's like,
I bet that tastes good.
So first
Rule
date. Yeah. So first date was I let her pick the place for dinner, and she picked because we were going downtown. We were going to go to the Comedy Catch, so she picked somewhere close. We went to Urban Stack.
Nice.
Which it's not soul food like you would think, and it's supposed to be. It's a gourmet burger place, but I think burgers doing the heavy lifting in that description. There's not much gourmet about it. I'm not going to say that we didn't kiss on the first date.
You can stop the story there, right? Like
Yeah, you did know her for 20 years, and also I just want to say that was wholesome as hell too. So that's a 3 for 3.
Wholesome at what? That we knew each other all that time.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, yeah.
Well,
but also
it is until you until you realize.
Let's not keep pulling layers back. Let's just keep this as a wholesome.
Why are you trying to ruin
well,
it?
I just want to say, it is until you realize what it means when you're talking about someone from high school and you're like, man, I hate that dude, and she gets real quiet. I'm like, oh fuck.
And you look at her and you're like, he's fucking dead, which is going to take us over to.
Get out of the street, you fucking bum!
That's right. We're back, baby. So for Booze of the Week this week, I've got to give a shout out to my boy Sean for my birthday. Got me some of this Glenfiddich 14 year and a little scotchy. And it is
Bitch.
This is a tasty burger.
So thank you, Sean. Appreciates it. Sean may be making an appearance on a future episode due to bribery. So,
You're gonna love that, I promise.
Leaf, what do you got there, brother?
Man, I'm drinking a little bit of a Zinfandel tonight from the
Classic.
hold on, I got you. Yeah, the Boda Le Box, dude. The old fucking van. The old country must have been fucked up because hold on. This
Yeah, that's-
fucking
that's-
green screen, dude. It's not even green. Why is it doing this?
Because
That's
Can get it closer?
Yeah.
Can you get it closer?
dude. This
now,
thing is
now
a
pull it away,
Yeah.
and then get it closer
Yeah.
again. And I'll pull it away.
Hit function.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh,
Oh, that's not funny.
Well, all right, man. So you got the finest of boxed wines.
the
Much,
finest, the finest.
much respect. You got a little nice glass there, Shadwick, man. What do you got going on for you there, brudda?
Well, left over from the Super Bowl, the not so good luck.
Coors Light, yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
Bud Light's
So-
still not paying you nothing.
So the mountains are blue now, but I was so bummed when we got home after the Super Bowl. I actually left them in the back of the Jeep, and just overnight. But it was like 50 degrees at night, so the mountains were a little dewy
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
morning.
It's fine.
Yeah,
But
man.
I threw them in the fridge.
I will say,
Seems to be okay.
at the end of the game that will not be mentioned, I've never been present for a game that had a room full of pretty rabid fans, that an outcome happened, complete silence, everybody put in their pieces or whatever and left the plane, and no one spoke of it again.
Well, did he come or what? Jesus Christ, man, there's just some things you don't talk about in public.
And so that's where we're at, man. So let's just go ahead and leave that in the past and then go on to something sadder, which is the passing of Carl Weathers, which
A legend.
an absolute legend.
man.
So what this episode is, we're going to just briefly go over his life, go over his career. We obviously didn't know the man, but huge fans. There's so many movies, so much entertainment he's provided for us for all these years. So we just wanted to give a fitting tribute. And we know, in full disclosure, YouTube is probably going to clap the absolute fuck out of this. We got clips we're going to be playing, but I mean, we don't care, dude. This is a tribute for him because, from by all accounts, a hell of a man, an incredible actor, and a hell of an athlete, man. So, like,
Insanely good athlete.
let's go ahead and get it kicked off there, Leaf, man. You want to start us off?
Absolutely. Just to add to what you said too, is that we may have not have known him, but he had a tremendous influence on our lives and in
Absolutely.
cinema and in some of our favorite movies, and even growing up now. Like his performances are just, some of them are legendary.
Absolutely.
From Rocky to when he was in Predator, and even the later years in The Mandalorian. And it was an incredible life. And we start at the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Weathers, born on January the 14th, 1948. It's a good day. It's a really good day. In New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, so I noticed that, and I for some reason I always thought he was a California native.
Really?
We'll get to
Yeah.
that, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Born a Southern man, and we'll as we go forward. Let's see. In 8th grade, he earned an athletic scholarship to St. Augustine Private School, and graduated from Long Beach Poly High School in 1966.
I know something about you. You went to St. Augustine High. That's a private school.
He came out an absolute incredible all-around athlete, we're talking boxing, soccer, wrestling, gymnastics, judo, and of course, American football. Never to be outdone. So just this man excelled pretty much in absolutely everything physical. You know, in the later movies, obviously we'll be talking about that. He just had an Adonis figure.
Yeah,
dude.
just what a physique, man.
Yeah. So I always, to me, like the pinnacle for a man would be like 6'2", 220, and that was exactly what he was.
Oh yeah, dude, and shredded.
And, yes, completely
fucking
ripped.
shredded.
Right.
We'll get to it, but you know, even in Action Jackson, he was 40 years old then, and just fucking ripped.
And that's to put in context too. When you think about that, he was 40 years old without the nutrition that we know today, without the supplements and things that we have today. Like,
well,
no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying
the modern technology that we have today.
Yeah.
Like there were a
Yeah,
handful
sure.
of those dudes that existed back then. Arnold also being one of them. But all right, man, go ahead and Sly.
I just want to say that Action Jackson was a year after Predator. So the famous high five or the midair arm wrestling scene, that was a year after that. And so yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Like he was just shredded from head to toe. Like it during that time period, and this is in his 40s. This is not prime.
This is not
Carl
like
Weathers,
spring
right?
chicken. Yeah,
Exactly right.
He had not been pushing too many pencils.
Graduating high school, he then attended Long Beach City College, where he played as defensive end in American football and became a letterman after transferring to the fine city of Miami. San Diego State University.
Whatever.
And joined the San Diego State Aztecs to win in the Pasadena Bowl and finish with an 11-0 record in 1969. How much of that he was actually a part of, I don't know. Maybe Chris can elaborate.
He was a very big part of that for San Diego State. Now there was a bunch of great athletes on that squad as well. Actually, when he was at the previous school, he had an ankle injury that caused him to miss like an entire year. Which is
he stepped on a curb.
Yeah,
right?
he stepped on a
Did
curb.
he trip over a curb?
They were doing, him and the other linebackers were doing, because he eventually transferred to linebacker when he was, playing for the Aztecs, which we'll get to in just a second, where he went from there. But yeah, he twisted his ankle. But even they said during high school and even in college, man, he had the acting bug. He loved to get on stage, and something about the, wrestling, they always call it instant gratification. Like when you're doing shit live, it's just, if you're a band, if you're a performer, whatever, when you hear the applause or whatever, man, it's adrenaline dump for you, and it's something you can become addicted to. And so he already had those thoughts, but he was just, as you can see, he was just a specimen of an athlete. So
Yeah.
he goes on from San Diego State University and goes undrafted, but gets signed to the Raiders, which I believe this was the Oakland Raiders at the time.
The Oakland Raiders, yes.
He was there just 2 years, right? 70 and 71.
Well, he was there 1 year. It was the 70 to 71 season.
And then who was it that cut him?
It was Mr. John Madden.
Boy, could I go for a nice cold white beer from Miller?
If younger listeners, that Madden football you play, that's that fella. So he was there.
Madden was like, boom, you're fired.
Boom, you're too sensitive.
Yeah, but actually that was what rumored was said is actually Weathers said that like he was Madden said he was too sensitive or whatever. So then he which a lot of players did after that didn't work out. That's what you as your means of income. So he went up to the CFL, the Canadian Football League. What team did he play for, Leaf?
The Lions?
The Vancouver British Columbian Lions.
And
BC,
which
BC
doesn't need to
Lions.
be confused with the team that they have up there called the Rough Riders. I'll leave that one to your own imaginations at the Canadian football team, the Rough Riders. I believe we have the Alouettes up there as well, and Johnny was a big fan of like CFL.
Dude, he just knows everything.
Side note: 3 downs in the CFL. It's fucking weird. So it's like third down is fourth down, and it's I think there's a 55-yard line, and there's some other. You can get a running start before the play. Like, if you go in motion, you can actually go in motion towards the line of scrimmage, I believe.
Three strikes, you're out.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so he
Three
plays 2 years up there. I believe the only stat he recorded was a fumble recovery. So depending on what you were betting on at that time, it could have helped you or it could have hurt you. I don't know. But then after that, man, that was it. I believe he went back to it goes back to school after that, right? To I believe he gets a degree in.
I think he was still. I mean, he was going to school while he was still playing, I think.
Okay, he may have obviously way before online school, but like it would. I don't know what the season is in Canadian football. Like it's pretty close to American football, maybe.
So at what was it, San Diego State or whatever?
Yeah.
He did get a master's in theater arts there,
Right.
And then what degree did he get?
Yeah, it was a bachelor's degree in drama.
Okay.
And he got that in 1974. He earned that from San Francisco State University.
So I would like to actually. That's where Johnny got his degree from, by the way. Believe
very nice.
Yeah, I believe they're the Gators. Anyway, I would like to say to our younger listeners, if you're not Carl Weathers, don't get a fucking degree in drama.
Not unless you have two blaxploitation films ready for you.
Yeah,
under your belt, right out of the
so,
gate.
Yeah, so there's two of them. In 1975, you got Bucktown.
Ooh,
and that's a good one.
And Friday Foster, which I've never heard of either one of these.
Yeah,
but I have to assume that there was something kind of like Dolomite.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys have not seen Eddie Murphy's Netflix film called My Name is Dolomite, you should really check that out.
Right. And these were as he achieved his drama degree in 1974, he basically did retire permanently from the football career and pursued acting full time. And
nice.
As Chadwick explained, he had Chadwick mentioned he had two blaxploitation films ready for him. But these were just like bit parts.
Yeah,
like,
he
you
was
go back and you watch the commercials. He's not even in some of the he's not even mentioned.
Yeah,
so, like in some of these, like I know that the Foster, Friday Foster, I believe the main protagonist was a young female, and he was like a hired thug.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing.
Hilarious results,
so,
in my opinion.
So I didn't know him before Apollo Creed.
Same here.
But I'd like to go back and see if I can find some of these episodes where he was on Good Times, Kung Fu.
Oh, nice.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yes.
And Barnaby Jones, and he played Joe the policeman in the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama.
Mr. Randy Watson, yes!
Yeah, you beat me to that. I had that one chambered, ready to go.
I thought about it. I was just like, man, what was it again?
Awesome. But yeah, man. But that's what, if you ever go looking through people's IMDb's, man, there's always these, they got to get started, right? Like very, very few actors just come out hot and go, I mean, even Arnold had to do Hercules in New York before he did other stuff,
where they dubbed him, dude. I can't wait till
they didn't even release it till he was famous.
And,
like
I Love Lucy.
Yeah, he did the I Love Lucy thing. But I mean, it's just part of it though. But good times are coming for Mr. Weathers as he, no pun intended, weathers the storm of what is a Hollywood career.
So he auditioned for the role of Apollo Creed alongside Sylvester Stallone in, of course, the original Rocky film. Weathers criticized Stallone's acting, allegedly,
according to Stallone.
According to Stallone.
Yeah. So what year was it? 76.
Yeah, it's got to be 70. They may have been filming in 75.
So Carl goes in for this audition. They want to see him with his shirt off, which he's like, okay, that's kind of awkward, but all right, So passes that test, fine. And then he's reading lines with this guy. Sylvester Stallone, which he doesn't know who he is or anything, and like he does his lines, and there's kind of like no response from anybody, and he goes, "Well, maybe you guys can get me a decent actor to work with. You can see what I can do."
Yeah.
So
Not realizing that Sylvester Stallone is the actor and the writer of the script.
Writer of the story.
So
Can you imagine saying that to him? That shit's so funny. So yeah. So it was nine. They would have began filming in 1975, and even in the story, Apollo Creed was the heavyweight boxing world champion in this universe in 1975.
So another funny story I heard, because I just watched, because it's unfortunately, man, there's no real documentaries on Carl Weathers yet. I hope that changes to kind of document what an incredible career and life the man had. But yeah, I really had to go to like, talk show interviews, because I'm trying to get it from him, or Stallone talking about him, or Arnold talking about him. Like, I don't want to hear, like guys like us talk about it. I want to heir it. I want to hear it from him, right? So like there was
you guys,
but you do,
us, right?
yes, but you guys love us. No, but so
and to prove that, you're going to hit like, you're going to hit subscribe,
yes,
and you're going to put comments in there, because if I'm being honest with you, I'm getting a little fucking pissed off about you people. No. Just let me go. We pour our fucking hearts out every week. Do you understand the 10 to 15 minutes a week I put into doing my research?
At least
you ungrateful sons of bitches.
It's sometimes 20, but
Depends on how
all
long
I
the
hear
bowel
is
movement takes.
Criticize.
So, but a funny story I heard from Carl Weathers is he was on some news show advertising something, and some local news, and they were like, "So you're used to box and everything," and he was just like, "Well," they were like, "Well, it says here," and he was like, "Sometimes you have to exaggerate things to get certain roles," and so like I think that he put that he was a boxer. Now he may have boxed a little bit, but he wasn't like a boxer, but
Yeah,
knew how to throw a punch. Obviously, like I mean, form solid and everything in there. If you see some of the early, but so I just thought it was funny. Good. Yeah, I just thought it was funny that he had to fudge that a little bit.
And this kind of goes back to the point I made in the Roadhouse episode, which if you haven't watched it, you need to go back. We need to pump those numbers up. But again, he's not really the villain in this, but I guess he's the antagonist maybe.
Yeah.
But again, he is clearly a better athlete than Stallone.
Yes.
And in a real fight, he would fucking destroy Sly.
Yep. And that's what Stallone even said. He said when they had him take his shirt off, and he said Stallone's like, he's like, oh man, like he's like, to be honest, I was a little Porky Pig at that time. He's like, if I'm being honest, and he's like, this guy's just an Adonis.
Yeah.
And so
they get in the ring. They've read the lines or whatever, and he tells Jesus, I'm just going to start calling him Apollo.
Okay.
He starts telling Apollo, like, take some shots or whatever. And he beams me like 3 times in the face. And I'm like, oh, you got the job.
And there
was a lot of physicality in that movie, obviously, that,
there were some fun clips that we found. We won't be able to play them on. I didn't want to just do like clip after clip, but like there's one where they're actually rehearsing the scene. And what I love too is like anybody that's done any like I did pro wrestling for a while, and I was like notorious for the you all right, brother? After you make some solid contact or whatever, but you can see that like they're doing one of the knockdown scenes, and it looks like Apollo tags him pretty good, and he's like, "You all right, man?" Like that kind of stuff. I don't know, just also like credit to see like the kind of man he is. He's a professional out there, and Stallone was like, "Dude, make it snug. Like let's make it like let's make it look good." That was his shot. Stallone's life or whatever, but. Yeah, that job, I don't think that he knew at the time, I'm sure, because that's what he said when people are interviewing him, and they're like, yeah, it was Sylvester Stallone. He's like, you guys say that, but he wasn't Sylvester Stallone then. He was just this just this guy. It was a part, that he was just trying
Italian kid, basically.
dude.
Yeah.
He's just trying to land this role, and get some food on the table and enhance that career. So
I don't know about you guys, but I've watched the Rocky movies dozens of times
for sure.
And honestly, Carl he carries that movie a lot.
Oh, for sure.
He has so much charisma. He's so articulate. And anything you ever see him in, he just has that that confidence. Like
it's
stands up straight. Yeah. He's all proper.
Well, I mean,
classy.
You saw what happened when they took him out of the Rocky movies, and Rocky 5 happened, and so we had to completely regroup on what we thought about life.
And
so
Come on, Pug. Touch me now, Sue.
Stallone talks about he wished that he had not killed him off. He said that he should have, if he could go back and change it, he would have crippled Apollo. So it takes his physical aspect out of it, but he still has the knowledge. And again, that charisma. So he could have stayed on and not had Rocky 5.
Well, I mean, I think too, like you get a little formulaic, because in Rocky 2, Adrian almost dies. Rocky 3, Mick dies. Rocky 4, Apollo dies. Like there's
could be argued that Apollo actually had the better character arc than Rocky.
Well, yeah, it's the classic. They always, again, in wrestling, they talk about if you want to be a really over babyface, be a heel first, and then they've hated you so much, and then when you have that charisma and you finally turn babyface, it's almost like
in the original Rocky, he's not really even a heel. Like he's the nice guy that gives the underdog a chance, and so he's on top.
He's Muhammad Ali. He's Muhammad Ali.
It's it is out of arrogance and his own benefit. But you're right. He is. There's layers to the character, and you can start to see them in the first. Rocky.
And also too, don't forget in Rocky 1, he wins. He could have left it as is, and then he keeps having those lines, which really shows. Rocky 2 shows what a great actor Carl Weathers is when he's like, I won, but I didn't beat him. Like he's like, because people are saying like Rocky should have won that or whatever. Like he's mad, but like I believe him. Like I'm lost in those movies because of that acting.
Yeah, and that's where he turns heel, because he wants to, basically force Rocky into that fight.
Right.
Rocky wanted to retire. He had the bad eye or whatever, and so he starts that kind of a smear campaign.
Yeah.
To me, also too, like it was almost a fourth wall breaking moment too when he says that. I just want to mention this right fast because it's like no one even fucking remembers Rocky lost. Like in the first one.
Absolutely.
It's almost like when Carl says that, it's like to me it hits so much harder because it's like he really is talking about like the plot of the first movie. That like even though I won, like I didn't beat him. Like nobody, even none of the fans and the people that watched the movie. The people on the outside of the movie that watched that even fucking actually remember that he was the winner, the better fighter, and the champion that that deserved all the accolades. All they cared about was this underdog. So to me, that always like I loved that moment because it did feel as if he was like speaking about the movie,
like
almost from the outside.
Again, like it's just speaks to his act. And I mean, this is in the 70s. And Carl Weathers only gets better as he goes on. And I mean, I know obviously in college you majored in it, but this is some shit, bro. Acting, you got it or you don't, like a lot of things in life. And he fucking had it, and he had a lot of it. Yeah. So
to continue on with that thought, though, he goes, he's champ. He loses or doesn't lose, but everyone thinks he lost.
Yeah, wins the decision.
Turns heel, does lose. He's the heel in the second movie. Then you have the redemption arc, where in Rocky 3, which Rocky in Rocky 3 is mirroring what Apollo was in the first movie.
Yes,
with Clubber Lang, he doesn't take the fight seriously. He doesn't train hard for it. He's in the limelight, whatever. Loses his focus, and when he loses the title, Apollo comes back to
loses his
to
trainer too, right? So I mean,
yeah,
he lost
yeah,
everything
so-
essentially.
making.
Yeah, he loses that. You son of a bitch! But he loses all that, and
told
then,
him.
but then Apollo's there for him, right? So it's just such a, and again, it's a character. It's like Terminator 2, right? Like here we go, we come back, and now the Terminator's the good guy.
And there's one line. It's where Rocky's swimming. Apollo's talking to Paulie, and Paulie goes, "He's not a boxer. He's a bruiser." And then he goes, "You keep telling him that, he won't be nothing."
And also, like Shadwick, you submitted this clip. I want to watch real quick. This is like,
Inside, baby. Side to side. Move your head. Watch him now. Watch him now. Right.
like
Watch it now.
yeah.
Now look, he's leading with his right foot like a southpaw.
Damn, man. What the hell are you doing? This guy will knock you on your ass.
Look, he's just freaking
Come on,
chiseled,
it's not a game.
dude.
But like the
You
acting
want to live
too,
in the
like
hospital for 5 weeks this time? You thought I was tough? This jump will kill you. Come on, get your head on your shoulders.
like
man.
that's what I mean. Like it's
Think
just
about the fight. Think about the
this
fight.
scene,
Come
you know,
on,
like
he's trying to
dude,
hurt you,
obviously,
Rock.
like
He's trying
when,
to hurt
if
you. Okay, here
anyone
he
that
comes.
knows us,
Jab. He's jabbing. He's jabbing. He's trying to
we're
hurt you.
notorious for
You
just
gotta fight, you gotta
we'll talk
move.
through movies and shit. There are certain scenes and shit that like just ropes you in. This is one of those scenes.
So this right here, he's hooking.
Yep.
He's hooking. He's hooking. Damn, Rock, come on. What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow.
Man, that right there,
There is no tomorrow.
that shit
There
right
is
there,
no
like
tomorrow.
that's what's
Dude.
up, man.
So I know we're like
That'll hit you.
we're in this
That's right there, dude. As a man,
I know
especially.
we're in this heavy like headspace right now, but when I'm playing with the dog, when I'm like wrestling with him, I always go, "He's hooking, he's hooking, he's hooking."
I mean, yeah, maybe we can just assume that, yeah, he was training him for at that point in time, he was kind of paused from the sparring aspect and was just throwing like punches because Rocky wasn't in it. I feel like the point of that scene potentially is just kind of like, Carl's like, dude, just get your head out of your ass right now, dude. Like, you're not doing anything.
For sure.
You know? Like, and maybe he's not even necessarily using any technique. He's just kind of bludgeoning him a little bit and letting him know, like, I don't even need, like, this guy's going to murder you. I'm not even using
Because you do
technique.
see in
You're
that
just
clip,
folding him.
He'll kill you to death inside of 3 rounds.
Yeah, you do see in that clip Mr. T throwing what essentially looks like hooks from both sides.
Like haymakers.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, all right, so,
So
let's
maybe-
so moving on from where's the timeline? So I know he does Rocky 1, Rocky 2.
So Rocky 1 obviously is released in 1976. And then he has a bunch of Carl Weathers goes on to do a bunch of different, bit parts in TV shows. He was in Serpico, good old Starsky and Hutch for those of you alive
Right.
during that time. These are all classic television shows, legendary.
Shadwick touched, I think, on those. Like, and so like that was
Mhm.
pretty commonplace back then. Somebody would grab a little bit of clout in a movie that hit or something, and then all you'd make the TV show rounds. You'd be a special
Mhm.
guest and
Yes.
and
I think he hosted NSL or SNL.
He did when as Jay Leno kept calling it Action Jackson during the interview I watched. That's how Jay Leno, he's like, you have to say it like a Action Jackson, you know what I'm saying? it's funny, you come on here and then you get it's
Man,
hey, remember when I completely fucked Conan O'Brien over? It's great.
Your Jay Leno was lost on everyone born like before 1999, dude. People are not gonna remember.
what is it he does in bar bathrooms?
Come on, one drink, and I promise I won't tell anybody that Jay Leno comes in here for gay bathroom sex.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get off of me!
Sorry, my mistake.
Carl was actually he had to do little bit parts. He was even in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember
Evidently,
anything about that.
He was an MP, military police, but he had a bunch of different roles. He didn't have any like main like kind of starring roles until he was brought back yet again in Rocky 2 in 1979. So that was the
so Rocky 2 is when he comes
That was a good
back.
year.
Yeah. It
Yep,
was a good
he's
year.
back. It was a good year. Yeah, I was a year old. I was rocking.
So where do we go from there? So I know obviously he comes back for Rocky 3, Rocky 4. So when does
I gotta say real quick, you know, the big song that came out of Rocky 3 was "Eye of the Tiger," and
legendary.
Since it's Valentine's Day week and we've been talking about the wives, I got to say that my wife absolutely fucking hates that song because our mascot in high school, we were the Tigers.
Oh God!
And she was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
So every fucking pep rally, every practice, every game, that song was playing. So that's
annoying.
She was like the club owner on Major League. Every time it came on, she's like,
I hate this fucking song.
She hates it so much, in fact, that I was watching Rocky 3 one night earlier this week. Like she was dead asleep, and I was like I was actually taking notes, like writing some stuff down on my phone. So the movie goes off and it's playing the song, you know, and she wakes up like the fucking Undertaker, like she's like, "Will you turn that off?"
She's like, poopy trip.
She had the hat on and everything.
Yeah. She had her nightcap on and her jams. So, all right, Leaf, walk us through this timeline, baby. So we got Rocky 2 that's come out. So where does he go from there?
Rocky 2, he had a part as Sundog in Death Hunt, briefly, just to tide him over until Rocky 3 in 1982.
So Rocky 3 is the clip that we just showed earlier, where there's no tomorrow with Mr. T, who was just rapidly pitying fools left and right when the
left
A-team.
And right in that.
My prediction:
as Clubber.
Pain.
Yeah.
Pain.
Fool. Mr. T,
I don't care what anybody says. I love Mr. T.
Me too.
Forever,
Mr. T, fun fact, he's his Hall of Fame speech for WWE. They have a celebrity wing. His Hall of Fame speech went on so long. They tried to play him off a couple times. He didn't pick up the hint because apparently he spent about 15 minutes talking about how much he loves his mom. Kane had to walk out on stage and basically have him wrap it up and take him off stage. So, fun fact about Mr. T. Big man of faith.
Eddie Murphy had some fun trivia about Mr. T in one of his acts.
Did he?
Yeah, well, I'll look that up and send it to you.
Okay.
You can throw it in.
All right.
I heard you did some jokes about me. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't.
So, all right. So we've gone to Rocky 3.
Rocky 3, yeah. And then of course he had I believe he had a more major part in a TV movie called Breaker. He was Lieutenant Harry Breaker in some TV movie film. Never heard of it myself. I'm sure it probably played before I was sent to bed.
Oh yeah,
some early.
And what you got to understand
Tuesday
too, I know
evening.
when like people go look through IMDb and they're just like, I never heard of that. I never heard of that. You also got to understand too, like, like these dudes are in like the Screen Actors Guild, like the union.
Yes.
You've got to get X amount of gigs per year, and you're a mid-level budgeted film, and you can get fucking Apollo Creed. You're about to pay him an assload of money. So like, he's getting steady work.
Payday.
He's getting steady work. He's still being like creatively satisfied with the craft of acting and everything like that. So I mean, people, I think a lot of times, I can't believe that he did it. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a working actor, you work where you're
if
called
you're
to,
working
so.
anything, like nobody.
Yes.
The fact that these dudes like their job or whatever. I mean, like, I can't fucking stand doing podcasting, but here I am. And
I mean, nobody can, honestly. This is not something you willingly engage in and ask for.
If the fucking network wasn't paying me what they're paying me, I wouldn't be here. Neither would you guys, and we know that. So
you guys are getting paid.
All right, man.
Like, no, but we would if we get our views up. You ungrateful sons of bitches.
You're just attacks anybody listening.
Shadwick's ready to fight. Give me a
Rocky 4.
A fight Shadwick fight shirt. Let's do it.
Yes. Rocky 4 appeared in 1985.
Man, they were just
1985.
Just fucking cranking out those movies.
Just cranking those, dude. Do you remember? Does anybody remember as kids, like when they would make fun of Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky movies? It was like anytime they flash forward into the future, it was like Rocky 36, because that's kind of by Rocky 4, people were like, "How many of these are they gonna make?"
They'd be like Rocky's 36, and he's like, yeah. That was like everybody's fucking impression of Sylvester Stallone,
dude. But to their credit, if a boxer really did take the shots that come from Rocky Land,
well,
there's some massive brain damage.
Well, I'll say this, and I'll raise you a UFC fighter named Clay Guida, and I'll show you some of his fights. That guy is a phenomenal punch taker. He's been doing it for 20 or 25 years.
That is not what you want to be known as.
But hey, man, I guess he's great at it. He'll probably find me and fucking destroy me, but whatever.
So, he did
Sponsor our podcast.
Carl Weathers did reprise his role in Rocky IV, of course, as Apollo Creed. And of course, shortly after, he was in the famous James Brown music video, "Living in America,"
which I saw several interviews with him where they were like, here over here you can do impressions. You can also maybe like sing a little bit. You sing him, but he actually is a really good singer. My Jay Leno's awful, but he can.
It's not.
He can sing really, really well. And I mean, I know that I'm not saying that he's got like a wide range or whatever, but he has. Chadwick, you sent us the song.
He's got a good voice. It's
great voice. And
he had. I don't have it in front of me, but he cut a song for Action Jackson.
Yeah, it's Action Jackson. Yeah,
Action Jackson.
Which have you guys seen that movie?
I have. Yes,
I have not.
I have seen it.
So I had not seen it until this past week.
Chef's kiss. I just want to say.
Yeah, it's a very good bad movie. Like,
and that's what sucks is like I read too. I think maybe you sent this, Chadwick, but that he thought this was about to be a franchise. Like when because
it should have been.
Yeah, because it was a good bad movie. You know, he knew what it was. Everybody knew what it was. It got him. I believe Action Jackson got him to host SNL. I believe that was in promotion for the movie.
I believe it was in tandem with.
Let me ask you this: what other black actor at that time was even close to being a lead man?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'd probably have to do some digging. I mean, you've got maybe Richard Pryor, I guess.
But not in action.
No, in action star. No,
yeah, not in action. So
we're years away from Wesley Snipes.
Maybe Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's an action comedy. Yeah.
But like that's the travesty here, right? Is you don't speak of Carl Weathers in the same breath of like Eddie Murphy or whatever. And I mean, not to tear down like anything. Like Eddie Murphy obviously was box office more successful, but Carl Weathers did all this. I mean, he was making big strides in the 80s, and he
massive, dude.
Kept fucking acting and taking parts he wanted. You know, he was talked about a couple of interviews I saw. Like, part of the art is turning down shit to be like, this would be a big payday, but to him, it was the art that he enjoyed. It was the back and forth or whatever. So that's what.
And maintaining his career is like as a serious actor in action and in film. And I want to pause right here because this Action Jackson was actually a year before one of my personal favorite Carl Weathers films. Obviously, I love him in Rocky. Like, he's Apollo Creed. You know, there'll never be another. God save me from the fucking day they remake Rocky, because I don't want to ever see it. I pray to Jesus that it won't happen, but it will, because Hollywood is fucking literally defunct now. But anyways, he was in Predator with one of my favorite actors, action stars, heroes growing up. Yes, indeed.
Here it is.
As Dylan, the famous scene.
Dylan!
Look at this shit, dude. How old is he here, Chadwick?
You son of a bitch.
40, right?
So,
39, 40.
I found a good story on that one. You ready for this one?
I still feel that movie in my bones.
So
dude.
They said in Predator, Carl Weathers said, he had this, I believe he said it was like a cashmere sweater. That's what he had on, or it was a high dollar.
Yeah, it was like
High
It was like
dollar.
tied around his neck. I'm pretty sure he was.
So
he looked like a.
he said this is back in 1986 or whatever. It was $150 because I said show up in your own clothes, and then the director was like, "Oh man, we gotta for this." It was kind of improv the arm wrestling thing. So he said, "No, we gotta roll your sleeves up." And he's like, "This is like a custom shirt. I can't roll the sleeves up." And he's like, "Cut them off." And he's like, "This is a $150 shirt." And he was like, "Arnold will pay for it." And he's like, "All right, give me the scissors." And then that was it. And he said he cut it, made sure it was tied up there. So boom, and the rest was history. That was all on set in one day. Like that whole scene, that iconic. I mean, that scene's had resurgence with GIFs and social media and everything. Like, but that's the iconic one, man.
It's been memed, and it is. It's an iconic moment, dude. Like, they're just two ripped guys. They have history. There's competition there. It's just that movie it obviously was meant to sort of just be like this horror movie, right? And it is. It's effective as that, but it actually has some of the acting and the plot of that movie is exceptional. And I'll never forget, dude. I loved watching Carl Weathers as Dylan.
Oh yeah,
basically the lead of the team that gets sent into the jungles.
And then another,
but he was being nefarious though. Like
he was.
He brought them in under false pretenses.
And when he brings in those mercenaries, as you said, and when Arnold finds out he's sort of been betrayed, Dylan is completely unapologetic.
Yeah,
he's basically like.
But
Arnold's like, "You're just gonna dump me just like that?"
You knew what this was.
But he also has that character arc in this movie too, where he's kind of a piece of shit to his friends.
Yes,
he like leads him into this impossible situation, but then right before he dies, he like has an attack of conscience and he goes back to save that woman.
Yeah,
and that's when
he meets an extremely legendary but unfortunate end.
So we
Predator.
Another fun story I heard from some Carl Weathers interviews is so it talks about the competition between. I guess there's always like a dick swinging competition between actors, and when
I bet he won that.
Yeah.
Remember, he was the only black action star.
but when you get to actors like that are athletes, he was like, then it's ramped up, right? So it was one of those, okay, who's going to be the first to the gym this day or whatever when they're filming Predator, and Arnold was always like the first to the gym. So Carl, to some he was like, oh, I'm gonna go run. So he had this hill that he ran. He said it was 3.5 miles down, 3.5 miles back. That's what he was doing every day. And the one day he's doing it, I think day 2 or whatever, he sees Arnold driving up to set or something and pass him. And he said he goes out the next morning to go run this thing. And then sure as shit, Arnold's already at the bottom of the hill and Arnold's running back or whatever. And he's just like, all right, man, we got to call a truce on this shit. Like, we got to stop trying to one up each other. We're going to get fucking hurt. Like,
he also said that Arnold was one that got him hooked on smoking cigars.
Yeah. I saw
and
that.
Was it something about like it helped keep mosquitoes away when they were in the jungle?
I mean that makes sense, like, because smoke, I mean, a lot of times like people have like the smoke and incense shit that's supposed to, but like I saw that too, where he said that Arnold got him into stogies. And so but to Leaf's point, such an amazing movie. We're obviously going to cover Predator at some point, and probably great detail, nauseating detail. Fuck, I feel sorry for future Chris. So where do we go from Predator, man?
So for Predator, we've already mentioned it a little bit, but it's the rumor is allegedly he came up with the idea for Action Jackson while he was filming Predator, because it has some of the same actors. And so you can kind of see Carl's mind here at this point in his career. Like, he's starting to want to transition. He's like, hey,
he wants to be a leading dude. Yeah,
he wants to eat it. And look at his IMDb. Just go through it, man. Like, look at all the he has paid his fucking dues, man.
And he has the fucking skill set and the charisma and the interview skills and everything, man.
His acting is good. It's really good, man.
So to that point, I just want to mention in Action Jackson, at the end of it, there's this one line where like, I think only he could do it because it's kind of a condescending line, but it's also like he's also charming in it.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's after the big fight or whatever, and Vanity, God love her, she comes up to him and she goes, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Hell no, I've been shot."
What's amazing about that was this is obviously, like Shadow said about Action Jackson. It's an extremely amazing bad movie.
Yeah.
But you have to remember in this time
fun,
period,
right? Like you guys can admit
it's
it's
fun.
Well,
it's fun.
I want
say
to retract that. It's not a bad movie. It's a low budget movie.
It's low budget, but hold on. This is the other thing that people need to remember, and I want to mention this. But if you do decide to go watch it, which you should,
absolutely should.
You absolutely should watch this film, and maybe all three of us get together and watch it together because I haven't seen it in a long time. But you have to remember, Gone at this point in time in history. This is the.
I'm not sucking your dick. That's like 100%.
That's 100%.
This is Gone are the days of the blaxploitation films. Like he's sort of missed his chance to be one of those leading action
show enough
men in the exactly. Like some of these guys, the Shafts are done.
Yeah.
A lot of these films that made a lot of black stars, like what not necessarily what they were, but the wave is over. Like this is sort of a callback to those movies, which is why to me it's so good. Because if you came up in that era, which
it was so big that he hosted SNL, man. Like this is 80s SNL too. Like, I mean, this is not like before we knew what the fuck SNL was. Like, that's a big deal to go host SNL. He's on Jay Leno. Hey, you did a great job on my show. But I don't understand that. Like, I don't know if it's just we fucking ignorant as a society. Why he should have got these dues. It's like a lot of these interviews I saw of him, that he was doing were like for local news channels, which also speaks to his character and his knowledge of how promotion works. He was doing signings and shit. There was this, just to throw out a fuck. Now I'm starting to get buzzed. So now to throw out like some angry shit right now. There was this news reporter. I think it was like Chicago. Of course it was. This guy was like. They were interviewing him. They're talking about his old roles. He's like, because I think he was at a con or something up there, right? Like convention. And then the guy goes, "Well, I mean, I'm much younger than you, but like I do remember." And Carl Weathers is like, "Much younger than me," and he like kind of plays with it. I was so mad when I watched that clip.
And I'm about to get to that movie, by the way.
I was so fucking mad. I was like, why would you say that to somebody? Like this is, and maybe I'll put that clip in here and maybe we'll all go punch that guy in the face. But but anyway, he with class and, skirted it, made a little joke about it, continued on with the interview, did whatever, because that's
let me just say he handled it much better than when the one reporter called Mike Tyson a convicted in that interview. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You have to bleep what I just said out. But that clip frightens me, dude. That was a spicy clip.
And I'm here for it because that dude deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did.
Fuck that guy.
Absolutely did. But
that and then some.
Unlike Mike, though, Carl Weathers he had class
and dignity.
Class, dignity, and he knew how to use his charisma to maneuver what would have been an awkward situation.
He steered it. He made a joke about it, steered it or whatever, and and then
beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. And I don't know.
That's that private school education coming back up.
That's fucking grinded my gears because I was like, why are you gonna fucking do my boy? What I wanted to say to that guy was like, Carl Weathers at his age right now looks 15 times better than your fucking honky ass. So that's what I wanted to say. But I wasn't there. I may have not been born yet. I don't fucking know.
So I wonder if there was anything like roles that he turned down that ended up being like huge movies, because I just can't believe that he was never like
people
a
were
leading
knocking
man.
on his door. Like, yeah, man. Like,
yeah.
So let's keep the timeline going.
I can't believe he wasn't in Lethal Weapon, man. Like, how did Danny Glover get it in over him? And maybe he wasn't even up for the role. I don't know. But you guys come on. You guys could, and I know like
he has
I'm
comedic
too
timing,
old for
and I
this
mean,
shit,
like,
dude.
I know, yeah, I mean, I know we get to it in Happy Gilmore, and maybe that was the first like display of like what amazing comedic timing he has. But I mean, like, yeah.
No.
But Action Jackson had it, right?
Yeah, Action Jackson had it, and
did.
and even in maybe it was unintentional, but in Rocky,
Yeah.
like he had little pops.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like a damn monster movie.
It does. The Italian Stallion. So what do you got?
So there was a Hurricane Smith, which I've not seen. That was in 1992.
Okay.
And then
And he was Billy. He played Billy Hurricane Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that one, Lee?
I have not actually seen that one. At 4.3, I think, according to IMDb. Not a huge smash hit.
Out of
And
5?
Let's just go with that. You know what I mean?
You know what? I want to watch it. You guys want to get together and watch it?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I'm down with it,
yeah. None of us have seen it.
No, man.
Yeah, I've never watched it, so absolutely.
So I didn't know about this. He was in a music video for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, which one was that?
Yes, it was called the Liberian Girl.
Yeah, I was ready to be like, oh shit, yeah. No, got nothing.
Yeah, it was off of the Michael Jackson's 1987 album Bad. The
Yeah,
song
which
was
is
written,
one of my favorite albums. But like,
yeah, it was written as early according to Wikipedia, 1983, and was among those considered for the Jacksons' Victory album. It was reworked and written for the Bad. For the Bad album. So
Chris, I've got some news about Michael Jackson for you.
You know what?
We'll talk about that off
We've
air.
played this game before. I don't want to play it anymore. So I mean, he's in a Michael Jackson video, which is also, again, like, that's fucking huge. Like, how many people would kill to be in a Michael Jackson video, man? You know,
I mean, he's legendary, and he did a lot of going forward. After Hurricane Smith, he did a lot of television shows, Street Justice. In the Heat of the Night, all highly rated. And then we come to his comedic and meteoric return.
Let's time out right before we get there, because we talked about this off air and I forgot to say it on the front end.
Okay.
Because we can't find the clip. I know the clip exists. Carl Weathers called his fucking shot. And his life shot. He was on a dating show. I think it was a dating show or a game show. And it was when he was in college or right before he was a pro football player. And he said, I'm a football player, but I'm going to end up going, I'm going to go be an actor after I'm done with this. And, you know, they're like, okay, cool. Like, you know, on to our next one. Who we have over here? And he's like, my name's Jay and I'm just over here. And, but no,
shut your mouth, Richard Dawson.
But anyway,
go back to the feud.
But anyway, though, like, there's a clip and I've Googled the shit out of it. We've all looked for it. He called his shot. I've seen it before. Like, Carl Weathers called his shot that he was going to be going to Hollywood and he was going to be like a famous actor or whatever. And I was like, damn. So anyway, all right, Leaf, what was that next movie?
We'll find it. It's a little known, low budget comedy film known as, you probably never heard of it, Happy Gilmore.
Oh, that leads me to Shit Stuck in My Head this week.
Hell no. Damn alligator bit my hand off.
Oh my God!
Yeah, tournament down in Florida. I hooked my ball in the rough down by the lake. Damn alligator just popped up.
Watch this.
Cut me down in my prime. He got me. I tore one of that back.
Get on him.
He's breathing heavy.
You're pretty sick, Chubbs.
Now look, I love Adam Sandler, but that is my favorite line of that entire movie. And at any time I can make my wife laugh her ass off. Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Damn alligator bit my hand off.
Jesus Christ. If I had $1 for every time I used that line, I'd probably have like $1,000.
You'll interject that line anytime somebody says hell no, because I know I've seen
every fucking time.
Seen you do it.
Yeah.
If anybody's just like, hey, Leaf, like, what are you like? Are you freaking
But
you
it's
coming
like,
tonight? I'm like, hell no.
But like, so
and Chris will be like, damn alligator bit your hand off.
So if you go look at that movie though, like, he's kind of a straight character, kind of, you know, he's like trying to recruit him or whatever. He goes nuts there, but then the rest of it, he's kind of just a straight mentor for him,
Yeah.
right? He's just trying to.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
But
the
he can
golfing
turn
mentor.
that shit on and off like that. Like it's just like comedy is fucking hard, man. Like it's hard to do written comedy live, and I speak from zero experience, but I'm just saying, like that shit. You can't just be funny. We know people at work and shit that are out in public that are like try to be funny. Fuck, how many stand-up comedians have I seen that I was like, oh, cool.
I know, dude.
I was like, man, congratulations. Now you gave me cancer. So do I send the bill to you or
your cardiologist?
Was he padded up a little bit in Happy Gilmore because he looked a little out of shape?
I think so because his face didn't look like puffy, you know, and that may have been like the look of the golfer that they're looking for, you know, like that. Because you can't be just a swole monster and be a golfer. Because but like it was so good, and even to this day, like people know fucking Chubbs Peterson.
Another great part.
Oh, because you're black.
It was right before that, right before the scene we just watched, where he's supposed to be a golf pro.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be like giving lessons, and this woman, I've got the clip. I'll send it to you. But this woman's out there just like hacking away at the ball, and he's like looking at the papers like,
Oh, that's great. Very good.
Just easing the tension, baby. I've used that too. That's another line that I use like all the fucking time. But like,
it's such a good film.
Happy Gilmore. Just we'll be doing this one. Just full disclosure, we're gonna be doing Happy Gilmore next week. But Happy Gilmore was a movie that I watched every night before I went to bed when I first moved out of my apartment.
I may watch it tonight. That's what I'm gonna do. Shit.
But I watched that movie every fucking night. So much so that like Leonard Skinner, the intro song, Tuesday's Gone.
Tuesday's Gone.
So that song, when I hear that, like I have this like ultimate peace over my body that's like weird because I just watched that every night before I went to bed. And so like
you associate it with like the comfort like that movie brought you from just being out on your own and finding something that was just so fun and enjoyable.
Meth-ridden apartment, and here I am. Like
you don't think in 43 minutes I'm gonna get horny when Julie Bowen's in her lingerie?
No, I don't. No. But so anyway, so here he is. Happy.
Do you guys like the white or the black better?
I like the white.
Yeah,
I like the black.
So so in Happy Gilmore, this is kind of a resurgence because I don't think this and maybe this movie I think this movie didn't do great in box office, but the legend of Happy Gilmore, as with all Sandler things, is kind of the legacy moves on, and then he becomes whatever it is. But so where does he go directly from Happy Gilmore?
Directly after Happy Gilmore is a lot of more television, like straight back to television shows.
So hold on. Did he do anything directly after? Because I was reading that he injured himself on a falling stunt in Happy Gilmore.
Evidently, according to in interviews.
Yeah, he fractured 2 vertebrae, and he said he was in excruciating pain for like 4 years.
Falling out of the window?
Yes, the scene where he basically dies in Happy Gilmore, spoiler alert, he falls backwards out a window, and he landed a kind of a funny way the first time he did it, he says. And this is directly from an interview I saw, if Shadwick's referencing the same thing we that I saw. And he felt kind of he got hurt a little bit like in his lower back, but he thought nothing of it, and he did it like a few more times, even including
he's
the
an
fall.
Athlete, right? Like fucking go.
He's older now, sure, but like he went ahead and he was just go. And evidently what happened was he did injure his back, and the bones naturally fused together, causing him excruciating agony for the next half decade. Jesus. According to him. He said in one of his interviews, people were asking him, about Rocky and how physically demanding it was. And we mentioned it before, how there was actual real contact between him and Sylvester Stallone and just, between the other boxers. And he was like, we had some bruises and cuts and some injuries. He was like, but Happy Gilmore is where I actually got really seriously injured, like seriously hurt.
So Happy Gilmore came out in '96, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you say you figure they're filming in 95.
Right.
So he was 47 at that time.
Okay.
So they definitely like grade him up, and made him look older than
Dude,
what he
for
was.
sure.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, like,
And
what, 4
way
years
But-
earlier, he was 40.
But we're Chris, you and I are 44. Leaf, you're 45, right?
45. Yeah.
Yeah. So, either of you want to fall out of a window? Because I sure as
Not
shit
even with
don't.
pads, dude.
What made me say that?
I mean,
And so,
look,
yeah.
this pro wrestler guy. I mean, I got a few bumps left. Let me take a drag, and maybe we'll see how it works on the other side. But no,
This dude.
absolutely not.
and get a fused spine, a crushed soul.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
got
dude,
for
so
Christmas.
yeah, he evidently, so he went back to television, and I think a lot of the may have been because, as Chadwick said, he was severely injured from the Happy Gilmore, and he said it was at least 4 years before he began to, a lot of that pain began to subside.
Yeah,
And he doesn't mention if he ever had any treatment for it. I mean, I imagine he did, but a lot of that finally did subside, and he was sort of, he said looks back on it as like a dark period in his life and his career.
I'm
because
sure, man.
as we know, he was in incredible shape and just physically adept, for the majority of his life. So probably experiencing something like that injury really, really hurt him and wore him.
So fucked.
resilience
Life
down
is
quite a bit,
such
man.
a mind fuck, right? Like, you play
It is, yeah.
professional fucking football, not to mention all the youth football you
Pro.
played, pro fucking NFL, John
Pro
Madden football, CFL football. You do Rocky, where y'all are actually like fucking teeing off each other's faces in a silly stunt where a
Gag.
pad is like fucking probably, 24 inches from the window you land
Oh,
on is
man.
what you fuck up your back on. It's
And you're just damaged for the next like almost half a year. Like, you're
Chichi
just
Rodriguez
messed
is
up.
like,
He's like,
why is he always there? No, 100%. No one fucking
Grizzly-
knows who Chichi Rodriguez is.
I
Grizzly
didn't
Adams
know.
did have a beard.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't know until my father told me. He's like,
Yeah.
it's old Chichi Rodriguez. And I'm like, who? And he was like, sit down, son, and let me tell you. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to know.
No, Shaddy, no.
So he did a lot of TV.
A whole bunch of TV. He has an uncredited scene in Little Nicky.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And in the year 2000, as of course, Chubbs.
Okay,
Hilarious.
so that brings me to my point. The Longest Yard. Why the fuck didn't he get put in Adam Sandler's The Longest Yard?
I don't know.
But
don't know,
I
man.
already looked it up. That was in 2005 or 2006.
Yeah, and I
2005?
don't know.
So
No,
that
man.
and also, why wasn't he in The Expendables?
That's a big one.
Right.
And,
I could actually see him maybe turning that one down.
and see that I could see that too.
Maybe
Because
he
like
did,
I there was way before he passed away, there was a lot of remorse from Stallone killing that character off.
Yeah.
And and you could see like, and at the end of this, I would actually like for us to like, Leaf, if you can, we'll do it off air, but you could read Arnold, what he wrote on Instagram or Twitter about his whatever, his
Absolutely.
farewell to him. Stallone had a video he put up that I'll put in here but those guys loved him.
Soul crushing.
Like,
They
I
did.
mean, and so it wouldn't be like there was beef there, it's, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but there was a show on USA called Psych.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's an exceptionally good show if you've never
yeah,
seen it.
like anybody in our age group, it's great for us because there's a lot of like pop culture references.
Dude, my mom loves that show.
And
Yeah, it's really it's a
So-
very good show.
So he was in an episode of that. The premise of the show is this guy's dad was a detective. So the whole time he was growing up, his dad was like making him like super perceptive, and so he gets it in the pilot episode. He gets into this deal where the only way he could think to get out was to fake that he was a psychic.
Yeah.
And so the police department start using him as a what do you call it? not a
Basically,
consult.
just sort of like a paranormal psychic consultant.
Consultant. There you go.
Yes.
So Carl Weathers, he guest starred in one episode where he was a retired detective, and there's two lines in there that get me every time. One is right when the main character Sean introduces himself, says, I'm the psychic or whatever. He goes, psychic? Oh no, I don't deal with the devil, boy. And then the other main character is Gus, played by Dule Hill. I believe that's how you say his name. There's a part where he and Carl Weathers, they're kind of arguing back and forth, and it gets where, like, you know, almost physical or whatever. And Gus does this thing where he reaches over the side and he goes, ding, ding. And then and you see Carl Weathers does that kind of, you know, why I oughta, you know, that movement toward him, like,
that's fucking awesome.
It's a great throwback, man.
Just beautiful.
All right, so from the Psych episodes, so where do you go from there? You said, I believe you said he did some voiceover work. Is that correct?
Dude, he does a lot of TV, but he also does some voice acting.
In your fucking realm there, brother.
Dude, yeah, it's in my neck of the woods, dude. Primarily one that hopefully you can find something on this, dude, and put it in post, dude. He's in Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10.
Wow.
Highly rated video game in 2015.
Dude, yeah, for sure. That's like a monster.
And you know Jax, man. Dude, like one of the metal arms. He has a skin. Yeah, dude, slamming dudes around, metal arms.
I might have to dig out the old Xbox because I have that game.
Dude, yeah. How do we not know that?
Jax has a Dylan skin from,
I don't know.
From Predator.
I don't know. Dylan skin?
A Dylan skin. Yes,
we
from
must be
Predator.
Slipping in our old age.
Yeah. Well, we really must, because I have
that fucking game too.
Yeah, I have that game. I have the Terminator skin.
Yeah.
I have Spawn.
What the fuck? How do we? You know what? Fuck Hollywood.
Dude,
find us. Find us. Tell us things.
We need more promotion.
So he still has his metal arms, but dude, he's got the paramilitary hat and the mustache, dude.
Nice.
Let's touch on that real quick. The mustache. Not many people can pull it off.
No.
I have a theory on that. It's dimples.
Oh,
you can
really?
You can pull off a mustache if you have dimples.
Well, I mean that.
Which means I never can, because I have a fat fucking bowling ball face. But
yeah, but you have a sweet fucking body.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
And a dong to match.
What? That does sound good. All right, so
that was weird. So he did a lot. He did some voiceover work.
Though.
He was in a lot of even more television shows. He did Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Justice.
Nice.
Man, he did
The Shield.
Dude, so he made the fucking rounds. I'm like, these are big shows too. Like, let's not like overlook this. Like, these are
and most recently, The Mandalorian, which is
a massive show.
I believe he directed at least 2 of those. Looks like
I believe so. Oh, but let's not forget, not 2019, he was Combat Carl in Toy Story 4. Dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, baby.
Wow,
Carl Weathers, dude.
So
yeah,
there was a Toy Story 4.
So Leaf, but Leaf, you brought up an interesting point. As we talked about this, as we do everything a little tongue in cheek, but what was the point you were bringing up about Carl Weathers and in his movies and major movies?
Dude, for some reason, Carl Weathers seems to just always like get the ass end of a beating, or he ends up getting killed in like almost every single movie. I mean, Apollo Creed, he lasted a little bit longer, but of course we all know what happens to him.
Yeah, so like I was like, I'm not really sure if that's true, Leaf. And then so Leaf did this.
Don't blame me, dude.
Shut up, Happy. Don't feel bad about me.
Even dies and
Got my
have
hand back, see?
Why?
We've only just begun to live. White lace and
He made the same faces he did in Happy Gilmore.
Dylan.
Oh man,
This one hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But also,
We've only just begun.
you know what? I wonder.
Just a legend, brothers.
When he dies in Rocky IV, when his body hits the canvas, I wonder if it was his decision or if he was directed to do that little spasm. Yeah,
The twitching.
Because that
gets
was
me every time.
so disgusting.
it
to
was
me.
disgusting, and I stole that far too often when I was doing wrestling.
The influence is real.
early on. I would do it way too much where it didn't fucking matter, but like that kind of shit like kind of influenced me because I remember how it made me feel.
Yeah.
But it's realistic. If anybody has seen people get really
dude,
injured,
we saw
in
one in a
combat
UFC fight
situations.
like recently. Dude took a shot to the head and he was convulsing and shit. So,
Dude,
but
I hate it, man.
I digress. We just want to say we obviously our condolences to his family, to his friends. But Carl Weathers meant a lot to us. Like as we've gone through everything that we talked about.
Yeah,
You know, I followed him on Twitter and I think Instagram also, and I remember like seeing just I don't know 2 or 3 days before he passed, he posted a video where there was like some type of a Comic-Con type convention somewhere it was coming up, and from the Mandalorian he had like a huge fan base from that, and he was apologizing saying, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make this one. I have some directing duties that's coming up next week, so I won't be able to make this one, but I'll see you at the next one. And then the next, I guess it was a Monday, maybe we got the news, and it was a complete shock, and really, really surprised me at how hard it hit me.
Yeah, I mean, you actually, I mean, and me too. But I remember, like you said, like you're like, is this fucking with anybody else that much? And it's, I think, obviously like the iconic characters, but when you go to the depths of following someone on social media and they're friends with your other heroes and people speak so kindly about you, you know this person at this point, and then also like he's a great fucking guy.
Yeah. And we all three of us actually know that Twitter is an absolute freaking cesspool, and they don't waste 1 second to defame you.
Yep.
If and when the moment comes that you do pass away, especially untimely, they will be people celebrating your death. They're just mutants on that platform. But when he passed away, I couldn't find a negative thing. Not from the.
I actually have it saved on my.
Said worked with him.
I had it saved on my phone. I believe.
Yeah.
4 different characters he played, or 3 different characters he played, were trending in like the top 20 on Twitter. When he passed.
Yeah. And it's all love, which is so rare.
And
so rare on the internet.
And every time that he put anything on Twitter, he always signed off with #Be Peace.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a great dude. Like,
that's a legend.
He was
a legend.
He was putting it out into the world.
I mean, like normally we'll end an episode with oh, you didn't know. I feel like we don't need that today. Like kind of after we kind of went through this. Just want to say again, condolences to his family and friends, and man, Carl, we love you, brother. Thank you for everything. And unfortunately, with that, it's going to lead us to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
I wish we didn't have to do this. We have to, though.
You still slam back a few drinks?
Oh, yeah.
Scotch.
I'll have scotch occasionally.
Bourbon.
I prefer scotch to bourbon these days.
I thought you were a scotch.
I'm more of a beer drinker. IPAs.
Oh, IPAs. Mm-hmm. What's that, International Pale Ales?
It's India Pale Ale.
India Pale Ales. What do you like to drink? Other than fucking jizz. I mean, what alcohol do you like to drink?
Whew.
Glenlivet. Glenlivet.
Scotch.
Yeah, that's a scotch.
It's a scotch.
That's what he just said.
Yeah. And jizz.
Yeah.
Scotch and jizz.
Carl Weathers will always be a legend, an extraordinary athlete, a fantastic actor, and a great person. We couldn't have made Predator without him, and we certainly wouldn't have had such a wonderful time making it. Every minute with him, on set and off, was pure joy. He was the type of friend who pushes you to be your best just to keep up with him. I'll miss him, and my thoughts are with his family.
Hello, everyone. Today is an incredibly sad day for me. I mean, I'm so torn up, I can't even tell you. I'm just trying to hold it in because Carl Weathers was such an integral part of my life, my success, everything about it. I give him incredible credit and kudos because when he walked into that room and I saw him for the first time, I saw greatness, but I didn't realize how great.